welcome to the video that's going to walk you through how to remove PMI off of a conventional loan. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps that I did to remove PMI off of my rental property that I bought in 2021. The way I did it was without putting any more money down, so I just used the appreciation and then got an appraisal, but I'll show you the other steps that you can do in case you haven't reached that equity. For those of you who don't know what PMI is, it's private mortgage insurance, and this is required on loans that you do not put 20% down. So that's why everyone preaches about saving up 20% to buy your first place. With all that being said, let's head to step 1. Step 1 is going to be figure out how much equity you currently have in the property that you're trying to remove PMI from. We do this first because we don't want to go through the whole process if we're not even close to having the equity that's needed to remove PMI. The first thing you're going to do is figure out exactly how much you have left on your loan amount. Once you have that number, you're going to head to Redfin and Zillow and take those 2 estimates of what your current property value is and take the average. From there, we're going to head to the drawing board and use my exact numbers on the property that I just removed PMI from. Here's my current loan amount. Here's my Redfin estimate. And here's my Zillow estimate. $229,552. So that's what I owe. Based on Redfin and Zillow, it looks like my property is currently valued at right around $316,321. Now, to estimate how much equity I have, we're going to divide that number, which equals 0.7256. Now, to get how much equity I have, you just take 1 minus this number, which equals 0.2744, which equates to right around 20% equity. Based on this estimate, that is more than enough equity to get PMI removed. Real quick, before we move on, why is it so important to remove PMI early? Why not just wait the 10 years for PMI to naturally fall off? Using my real numbers, I still have 89 more months until PMI would naturally fall off. Times that by my PMI payment of $109.13. If I don't get PMI removed early, I will have to pay another $9,712.57. This is the number we're working towards right now. Get PMI removed early, and this is how much I'll be able to save. I've already been paying PMI for 31 months times 109.13. I've already given my lender $3,383. And guess what? I don't want to give them a penny more. So let's move on to step 2. Now that we have a rough idea of how much equity we have, we're going to go to step 2, which is to contact our lender to get the exact steps we need to remove PMI. Each lender probably has a different approach to it, but I use Wells Fargo, and they simply send you a packet that breaks it down. So let's go take a look at my packet and see how I remove PMI. The first option to cancel PMI is to use the original property value that your house was valued at when you bought the place. You would then make an additional payment towards your principal of whatever amount is left over and the equity that you would need to hit 20%. In my case, I would have to write my lender a check of over $30,000. I definitely don't want to do that, so option 1 doesn't make a ton of sense for me. Option 2 is to get a new property value based on the significant improvements that you made after you moved in. So if you went in and remodeled a ton of things and spent a ton of money that brought you to that equity threshold of 20% based on the improvements, then this might be a good option for you. In my case, I only spent about $5,000 on upgrades, and as you can see, the packet says I needed to have spent $30,000 in upgrades to remove PMI this way, which of course I didn't do. So option 2 doesn't work for me either. The third option is to cancel PMI using a new property value. The con to this is that you do have to pay for an appraisal, and then you have to hope that it comes back higher than the amount needed to remove PMI. In this case, it's 25% equity needed, where the first 2 options are only 20%. In my case, I needed an appraisal to come back over $307,000 for PMI to be removed. If you are able to do this, then it means you don't have to put any more money towards principal, which is a huge bonus. Based on our equity estimate from earlier, option 3 should work, but again, it was just an estimate, so the appraisal itself will be the true deciding factor. Step 3 is to figure out which option works best for you. So in my case, I didn't want to put any more money out of my own pocket into this loan, so I simply waited for my property's value to increase to the point that I could reach 25% equity and then get an appraisal and then get PMI removed. So that's exactly what I did. Step 4 was the most nerve-wracking because I just paid $190 for this appraisal, which is definitely worth it in the end if you're then able to save 10 grand, right? But I waited for the appraisal to come back, and sure enough, it was 310. It was the exact amount that I needed to get PMI removed. So once the appraisal came back, I then waited another week, and this was the letter I got. As you'll see, removing PMI really isn't that difficult. The main thing is just getting in contact with your lender and they'll walk you through the exact steps. So hopefully this video gave you that little push that you needed to get PMI removed and save that money. That's it for this month. I plan to get another video next month, but we are having a baby tomorrow. So who knows how sleep deprivation will play a role in that. But I appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you guys next time.